Okay, let's talk about one of the biggest, most frustrating parts of learning a new language. You spend all this time learning the rules, but when it comes time to actually speak, nothing. We're going to get into why that happens and what to do about it.
Does this sound familiar? You've memorized the verb conjugations, you understand the sentence structures, but the second you're in a real conversation, your brain just freezes, right? You're stuck in your own head trying to build the perfect sentence. Well, if you've been there, you're absolutely not alone, and you're about to find out why.
Now, I want you to really hear this because it probably goes against everything you've been taught in language class. You ready? Grammar is not your problem. Seriously, let me say it again just so it sinks in. The reason you can't speak fluently has almost nothing to do with how many grammar rules you've crammed into your brain.
So if memorizing rules isn't the key, then what is? Well, this is the big shift in thinking. Fluency is not an exam you have to pass. It's more like a sport or playing an instrument. It's a physical skill. It's an instinct. You see, it's all about building a habit.
This right here breaks down the two mindsets perfectly. The old way? Well, it's a total trap. You're so focused on being correct that you hesitate, you overthink, you end up not saying anything at all. But the new way? It's about flipping that script. You just speak. You prioritize getting the words out, and believe it or not, the correctness, it just starts to follow naturally the more you do it.
And if you need any proof, just think about how you learned your very first language as a kid. Did you sit down with a grammar textbook? Of course not. You just talked. You made a ton of mistakes, people corrected you, and you just naturally adapted. Native speakers aren't running through a grammar checklist in their heads. They speak from habit. They speak first.
So, look, grammar isn't useless. We've just given it the wrong job. It's not supposed to be the driver of the car, slamming on the brakes every time you might make a mistake. Think of grammar as your GPS. It's a support system. It's there to help guide you when you get a little lost, but it doesn't stop you from actually driving.
All right, so the goal is to build a speaking habit, not to just collect more grammar knowledge. That's the theory. But that leads us to the most important question, right? How do we actually do that? What's the game plan?
It's actually pretty straightforward. Here's your plan. First, you've got to simplify your grammar. Forget the obscure stuff. Focus only on the short, essential rules you need for speaking day to day. Step 2, make it real. Every rule you learn has to be connected to practical examples you'd actually say in a conversation. And third, and this is the big one, daily practice. It doesn't have to be for hours, but it has to be consistent. That's how you build the habit.
So what this all comes down to is a change in your whole approach. Fluency is totally within your reach, I promise. But the path to get there isn't paved with more textbooks. It's about giving yourself permission to just speak, to make mistakes, and to build that automatic, natural habit. So I guess the only question left is, are you ready to finally stop thinking and just start speaking?